Hello everyone, this is Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition. This is actually the 41, session 41, exactly. And please excuse me for being late, but Instagram keeps making updates and I didn't find a way how to actually go live. So yeah, excuse me for my technical glitches here, but the most important thing that we are live now. So Instagram, maybe you don't want to make so big changes in the future. Thank you. So while I'm waiting for my guest today to join me, I would like to tell you what these conversations are about. Because normally I don't really start addressing Instagram with my suggestions. So these live conversations are scheduled twice a week since April this year to introduce our ecosystem members who attended any of the educational programs so far. Let it be program or the Food and Climate Shaper boot camps, what we organize with FAO right now. So many different educational programs what the Future Food Institute has done in the past. So hi Tarek.
Hi.
Hello. Sorry for being a tiny bit late. I needed to find a new way to to start the live. So I'm just telling the audience what are these conversations about. So we host them on Tuesdays and Thursdays in different times because, as you can imagine, our alumni are all over the world. So we try to support different time zones as well. And these are very casual 30-minute conversations where they explain how did they join the Future Food family, what educational program did they participate on, and what were their key learnings, what happened with them since then. So what are the challenges that they are facing nowadays? How is their local food system? And finally, we always ask about how they imagine their future and especially their food future. So I encourage everyone to please post your questions in the chat. If you don't have time to follow us till the end, don't worry because it will be posted on IGTV afterwards. And now, without any further ado, you heard my voice enough. Let me hand over to Tarek. Hi Tarek, please tell us where you are dialing in from, who you are, and which educational program did you attend?
Okay. Hi Julia, it's lovely to see you again. So I'm Tarek Soliman, originally from Egypt. Currently,
Wait, just a second. I think the microphone is not working so well at the moment. Could you please start again?
Okay, can you hear me more clearly now?
Very well. Unfortunately, we don't see, like we see you from here, but we can hear you very well, and that's the most important.
Okay, I'll do my best. I'm always working with technology. So I was saying I'm originally from Egypt, currently residing in Italy, and I work for Lush Cosmetics full time. And what else did you ask? How did I join the Future Food family in the first place? It was an interesting story because I have finished my studies in agroecology at the Norwegian University of Life Sciences in 2013. And I realized that the study of agroecology was all about the analytical aspect of things. It was never about the design, the same way permaculture was. So I wanted to learn design thinking. And I had it in the back of my head for quite some time. And then I had, like, it fell on my lap practically, this opportunity to come to Italy and join the Future Food Innovation Program in 2015.
Sorry, Tarek, you will need to keep it closer to you. Sorry about that.
Okay. Well, you can look at you can see me more closely now.
Yes, very closely.
So what was the last thing you heard clearly?
So I will repeat because I kind of know what you said so that the audience is also clear. So you finished your studies in Norway and you realized that you want to learn design thinking. You learn about permaculture and that's how you ended up joining the Food Innovation Master Program.
Exactly. Like I was saying that study of agroecology doesn't have an aspect of design and building something from scratch.
Yeah.
Which I felt I needed to learn. I was about to learn about that in the architecture department at the same university, but it wasn't possible somehow. But and then I came in and saw what it was about, the food innovation program, and like the other participants, we were also excited. The classes were taking place in a museum. That was like a dream coming true. And little did I know, when I joined, when later I was engaged in the Wiki Expo project, and that's what made things even better. I recall when I put this post on Facebook, the first time I set foot in Reggio Emilia, a dear friend of mine called Stephen Barstow. He's a botanist in Norway. He's British though. He was telling me, Tarek, this year is going to be the year. Mark my words. And his prophecy really came true, because this year was definitely. I don't have the word now, but it was definitely a milestone for me. Like, it really changed so many things for me. It's initiated new things for me. Made tons of contacts during my time, the Expo semester. I renewed some of my existing contacts. I became aware of so many things I wasn't necessarily noticing about food, about culture, even about research, which was my area of focus, since I do come from academia. Even though I tried my hand in other things, but academia seems to be following me wherever I go. So yeah, but you know, I was too busy working at Expo that I didn't really follow the classes the way I should have. So I cannot say that I'm well versed in design thinking the way I would like to.
Okay.
I'm still learning how it functions. I'm still reading about it and not understanding much, and reading again, and that's how it works for me. So yeah, after that I was examining the concept of innovation, like what makes especially trying to reconcile the digital tech presence in the food sector with my background in agroecology, which is more about traditional knowledge and environmental stewardship, and even looking after the peasants or small farm holders, their culture, their livelihoods, and so on. Like, I couldn't see the farmer in the southern Mediterranean, for example, investing in a robot to pick their fruits, for example, or in a drone or something like that. Like, I've seen, there have been some studies on that in Greece, and there is also a very well-noted Argentinian researcher who spoke about agroecology and digital technology. There have been some modest attempts, but it wasn't clear how to reconcile between both worlds. Okay, so I started looking into responsible innovation in my research. What makes an innovation responsible? And especially for food and agriculture, it doubly has to be so responsible. And I think any activity in the world, no matter what kind of business it is, no matter how they label their activity, whether it's a CSR or a green business or a team organization, it has to be responsible for the impact mostly. Like, any business model looks into how money go in and out, basically. But they have to see how much impact goes in whatever activities are held in this organization, and how much impact is made by this organization. For instance, because I'm so deeply immersed in Lush, which is a very fragrant thing to be in, there is a special attention given to how much impact sourcing the ingredients has on the producers.
Yeah.
And how much impact does this have, like using backbones, how does this affect water resources, for example? So these are all things that need to be taken into consideration, not only by the cosmetics sector, but any other sector in the world. Like, we cannot afford to look the other way when things happen and just say our responsibility ends here.
Yeah.
now that's I'm getting a bit philosophical here. So
No.
yeah, I think I'll draw the line here.
No, but that's completely fine, because I think there is not enough time to repeat this. Like you have to say these things multiple times till actually it reaches everyone's understanding. But yeah, I had a question. I am very curious how your passion for agricultural sciences developed.
Oh my God. Ever since I was a child, like I was drawn to any place with plants and flowers and animals in it. And then I think the decision to become an agriculture engineer I had when I was 6 years old.
Wow, that's pretty early to know.
Yeah. 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 Well, it was like, it came naturally to me.
Okay. And then, so how did you end up in Norway? So what was the path from you being 6 years old and then having your studies in Norway?
Okay, when I was in Italy for the first time, I was doing my master's thesis in integrated pest management.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, I was hell-bent on studying organic farming and focusing on entomology and the science of insects, that is. That was the first discipline I have been immersed into as a young undergraduate agricultural engineer. Mm-hmm. So I found this program called in agroecology between Italy and France and Norway. And the title was really catchy. It's about managing complexity and change. And it also treated agriculture as a human behavior, which is like, I've only seen something similar when I read about Fukuoka in Japan, who introduced the concept of natural farming. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this is what I'm looking for. I need this, not to study, like, for example, when I have this disease, when I have these symptoms, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to spray, and my job is done. Because I had previously, before that, when I was still an undergraduate, I have been trained with the German GIZ project in integrated pest management. And the first thing I noticed, it was more about the people, more about talking to the people and listening to the people, even more listening than talking, and seeing the whole context, how it functions, how like most people, when you hear that, for example, farmers are using too much pesticides, you will definitely take a certain stance against this practice.
Yeah.
You will say they're ignorant, they are not educated, they're not careful. They might be. But then when you really like live with them, even for some hours, and see how their lives go on, how they make their decisions, the everyday decisions, how their budgets are managed, mm-hmm. You become less judgy, and you will be even more drawn to listen and try to help them find a solution without imposing. And then I also realized that in this line of work, we will always be outsiders, but it means you won't fit in right away, and you shouldn't. But it means you will also be a wild card, the wild card that brings in something new and unexpected. Yeah. If you, excuse the pun, play your cards right, and make a point of listening as much as it takes in order to be trusted.
Yes, I think listening is a skill what should be more taught and transferred to the new generations as well. Talking about listening and experiencing other things and getting an outreach to the world, and how to kind of then download all the knowledge what you kind of soak in. You mentioned already the Wiki Expo. Would you mind telling the audience what exactly that was, or that is?
It was a huge surprise for me. It was a platform that had the very ambitious goal of collecting the insights and knowledge and novelties that Expo was about. And it had, like, the goal was to create a legacy of the Milan Expo.
Which took place in 2015 for the audience.
2015, exactly. And like the next Expo was supposed to be this year, but of course it was postponed to next year. Hopefully it will be held eventually in Dubai.
Yes.
So there was lots of criticism about Expo. There was so much negativity around it, but I saw it as an immense opportunity, and I was really surprised that my colleagues didn't really bother about Expo. I was the one who was going every day practically. We also had Mercy and Carla, who were going regularly to capture the insights in the remit, because we had it divided somehow. The project manager, Federica Lena, was calling me Máquina di Guerra, which is like the war tank. Because I was really hell-bent on getting everything in place. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I had that in mind, so I had to go through every conference, every meeting that mattered, and get the insights from it, get the presentations, get business cards, follow up on that. So that was definitely a magical period. Sadly though, collecting all these insights and making sense out of them was not an easy task, and it needed lots of planning and understanding that this is not a one-off thing, but it had to be structured and to be a long-term engagement towards knowledge management and dissemination. But somehow this didn't happen. There was more interest in pursuing what's next, not dwelling on what's finished. So it was like, I also followed this tendency. For example, Future Food Institute delivered the first summer school the next year, 2016, in Messina, in Sicily, and I was the scientific coordinator of that summer school. It was a huge experience and a very steep learning curve.
Okay.
But it also made me discover, I'm sure you will relate, my passion for education.
Definitely.
There is nothing that is so fulfilling as delivering meaningful learning experiences to others. In my opinion, that's the best. So you might think that I'm a bit dissociated from that, working with Lush. But last year, for example, I delivered training to 56 farmers in Kenya. Most of them are women. There was a significant language barrier. But I did pick up a few words from the language.
Wow.
About integrated pest management and soil fertility, natural soil fertility. It was, again, a very steep learning curve for me as well. Like, these are things I know, like, from the back of my hand. Not necessarily new to them, but they definitely don't get it delivered this way. I also kind of used different methods with them. I got men and women to talk together about technical issues and work-related issues, which is something that never happens in this community. So I also got them to speak about what they think is correct, what matters to them. I haven't really quit my my passion for education, and I wish I could do more of that in the future.
Yeah. So before we go into your role at Lush, would you mind telling me what was your main learning from this training program? Because this is the beauty of education, actually. It's not only you delivering the knowledge, but there are all these different individuals joining you on that learning journey. And you also went to a completely different culture, as you said. What were your takeaways?
My takeaways is that I needed to spend more time with them, be more immersed in the reality. I need to spend more time in the forests. I had to. Like they always talk about elephants as a problem, but I wanted to see the elephants. See how can the elephants that we enjoy watching at the zoo or in a documentary be a daily problem for someone that threatens their livelihood.
Okay, so can you tell us how is that possible? Because I'm pretty sure you learned that since then.
Well, elephants are vegetarians and they have a big appetite. And when they help themselves to the crops in a farm, and these are very small farms, as they cross from one forest area to another, there are farms in between. So they eat what they find.
I see.
And there's no way to stop them. Exactly. So that was a serious problem. And when the elephants help themselves to farmers' crops, it means the farmer will starve for an entire season.
Yes.
So it might seem like some material for documentary films, but it's actually a tragedy.
Yeah.
And you can't really take sides because
of course
the farmers need to live, and so do the elephants.
Yeah.
And the common answer in some parts of Africa would be poaching or things that we don't approve of. But then again, how many options do they have?
Exactly.
There are some options to ward off the elephant with different levels of effectiveness. But yeah, these are delicate. This delicate equilibrium needs to be addressed more with more focus, with lots of empathy.
Yeah, and I think this is where the point comes in, relating back to your previous answer about listening, right? Because I think a lot of times the mistake is made that someone, an outsider, arrives to a place and then they tell how it should be changed in order to make it work, while they don't even understand these local circumstances, the local context, what the people who live there actually have to face on a daily basis. So I think definitely we validated the necessity of listening and observing and not just think that we know the solution for everything.
In fact, one good thing about agroecology, I think I'm getting a call. I'll just decline. Yeah. There?
Are you still there?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you still see me?
It's loading. The picture is still loading, but I can hear you. Or not anymore. Now? Okay, good, Tarek, you are back.
The image. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I got a phone call. Totally
That's
unexpected.
Okay. That's okay.
What I was meaning to say is that the practice of agroecology is not about suggesting what's missing or what's not working. It is noting what is working, what is functioning, and seeing where we can go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Rather than telling your clients, because farmers become our clients, what they are doing wrong. Nobody will want to listen when you point out their faults.
Exactly. That's very true. So Tarek, before I have to keep an eye on the time. I would like to ask you to tell what is your current role at Lush? What are you doing? And then afterwards we approach the final question, what I ask from everyone.
Okay. So my current role at Lush that I have been in for the last couple of years is agroecology support, which means I support buyers with choosing like the choice of the right suppliers, sometimes supporting the suppliers themselves. suggesting sources for ingredients that are in line with the agroecology principles, supporting the sourcing hubs which are directly managed by Lush in 4 different zones. We have Southeast Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, the MENA region, Middle East and North Africa, and South America. So as much as needed, supporting from the scientific perspective of agricultural stuff, mostly plant varieties, pest management strategies as required. My main task is to minimize the use of highly hazardous pesticides in the Lush supply chain. That's a huge task, and it's going to take quite some time before it's achieved. And when I talk about highly hazardous pesticides, it's the category of pesticide substances that are known to cause serious health problems and environmental problems. Most of these were identified in the Rotterdam Convention, but also those are identified by individual governments as harmful or particularly hazardous, and their use should be restricted or limited. Of course, not all people see eye to eye in this. Mostly pesticide producers don't see eye to eye in this. But yeah, like there is a good effort all over the world. Also, Lush has been supporting permaculture initiatives around the world for some time, and they had also a funding scheme called Slush for some years that has evolved in 2018 into Refund, the regenerative fund. Now it has been, of course, because of the situation at the moment, the financial situation all over the world, it has been like minimized for the time being, and will take over again once the situation improves. That's a way to support the ones who are actually doing a good job, who are trying to show others that these things work, teach young people, empower people who are marginalized or often ignored, such as refugees, children, disabled people, women, youth, ethnic minorities, you name it. So this is a very important area of work at Lush, other than the business that produces all these fragrant cosmetics. It's about also, again, focusing on the impact, and under the slogan that maybe you've heard, leaving the world lusher than you found it.
I haven't heard it actually. Very nice. Thank you, Tarek, for sharing this. So my final question for you is, there are no barriers, so please think utopistic. How do you see your preferred food future? How would you like to see that?
Well, my preferred food future is that we have fruit trees in the parks, free for anyone to enjoy these fruits. Yes, all year round, available for everyone and anyone. That's what I look for in the cities. And I would like to see the forests rising again where they have been removed, or where they are no longer present. I'd like to see lots of forestation happening, or reforestation. And keep thriving on non-timber forest products.
Can you repeat? I was too excited about the fruit trees in the park. What was your last part?
People thriving on non-timber forest products.
Very good. I really would like to live in your future, Tarek. Thank you so much for today, sharing your story, and for the audience for being here. If you joined later, after we end this call, it will be uploaded on IGTV. And stay tuned, because the next session is on Thursday morning. And I cannot finish the session without telling you that the next edition of the Digital Bootcamp starts this Friday, with more than 40 participants coming from all over the world. And well, I have to tell you, we are still interviewing. So if you just heard about it now, go on our website and apply. You still have a chance to get in, otherwise next year. And then on that way, you could be maybe featured on one of these sessions as well. So Tarek, thank you so much. It was so nice to reconnect after our last meeting in person in 2018. And take care and stay in touch.
All the best. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.